Over 10,000 YouTube views in the last 30 days. It's BMB Basic Training with CombatCounselor.
Good morning, it's Sunday, it's 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. I'm Chris Sorrentino, also known as CombatCounselor. I'd like to welcome you to BMB Basic Training, and this is episode 11. In previous weeks, we've talked about creative hopelessness and the fact that the things you've been trying for so many years to eliminate anxiety and depression really haven't been working for you, or you wouldn't be seeking out input from me or other people, books, therapists, whatever the case may be. We also talked about control is the problem, not the solution. The more you try to control your life, especially when you're talking about thoughts, the more you're going to fail, because research shows that the more you try to control thoughts, the stronger they're going to come back. And we also talked about cognitive confusion, the fact that we sort of meld with our thoughts. We believe whatever pops into our head is true, and that's not actually the case. In fact, our memory can be quite inaccurate, and a lot of crazy stuff jumps into our mind, and we really don't have to believe it. And I've also talked to you about staying present, how present-minded focusedness is really important. Be resilient, and explained what resilience is all about. That's where we're at now. And then in the future, we're going to be talking about StayTheCourse, and which kind of follows on the topic that we're discussing today. So today I want to talk about resilience and some things that you can do to be more resilient. And those are, if you think in terms of compassion, if you think in terms of selflessness, if you think in terms of empathy, and if you think in terms of altruism. If you can act in those ways, okay, first of all, you stay present, you have learned to focus on the present moment, and when you notice thoughts coming into your mind telling you that to do something that may not be in accordance with your values, all right, you can take a deep breath, clear your mind, bring yourself into the present moment, and then be compassionate, be empathetic or empathic, both words are acceptable, be altruistic, be compassionate, okay? So we're just going to talk a little bit more about those things today. I want to start by talking about integrity. And these are all positive kind of things, but integrity basically means doing the right thing, especially when nobody's looking. All right, so it means that if you say you're going to do something, you're going to do it. So if you have integrity, people know that they can count on you. And integrity is extremely important to me, and I think it's extremely important to a lot of people, whether they understand that or not. So when you're put in a situation or a thought comes up suggesting that you do something, for example, if you're trying not to drink alcohol, maybe you're an alcoholic, and your mind's saying go buy a bottle of booze, you can stop, take a deep breath, and think about what's important to you, okay? And some of the things that might be important to you are, like I said, compassion, altruism, empathy, selflessness. So let's start with selflessness, okay? What does selflessness mean? I've been reading recently that the Buddhists look at selflessness in a little bit different way than I've thought about it. When I think of selflessness, I just basically think of not being selfish. Okay, selflessness means thinking of other people, putting other people or other things before yourself. And I'm not going to get into a religious discussion here, but I thought it was interesting that the Buddhists see selflessness a little different way. They talk about selflessness meaning actually the lack of a self. Okay, and if there is no self, there's nothing to be selfish about. Okay, and you're going to be looking in a more compassionate way. You're going to be looking in a more selfless way. And that's leading to the path to enlightenment. So if there is no self, you can't be selfish, so you're going to be compassionate, you're going to be empathetic, and so on and so forth. So selflessness is an important concept to me, and so if a thought comes up where you say, well, I'm going to take this money and I'm going to go spend it on a new set of golf clubs. I just got this small inheritance, and I'm going to go buy some new clubs. It's about $1,200. Stop, take a deep breath. Okay, you got a wife and 2 children. All right. How about thinking of them first? Okay. And then maybe if there's something left over, you can go get something for yourself. And I'm not saying that you totally forget about taking care of yourself, but selflessness means thinking of others first before yourself. Okay, and there are times when it's important to think selfishly, to think about yourself first, so you can go overboard the other way. But most of the time, I like to think about other people's needs before my own, and sometimes I go overboard in that direction as well. So selflessness is a way you can act, all right, to be resilient, act in a self manner. Altruism means that you are going to help or look out for someone else or some other thing. Could be an animal, a person, whatever, even though it takes something away from you. Okay, and you're doing it only because you want to help that other person. And it could be giving money, it could be doing chores or favors for them, but it's doing things for others without expecting anything back in return, basically. Okay, so if you think altruistically, okay, instead of going to play golf on Sunday, every Sunday, you decide to take the wife and kids to the zoo one Sunday or 2 Sundays a month. Play golf 2 Sundays a month. Okay, do a little something for yourself, but don't forget the other people, especially the people you care about. So it also goes for donations. If you want to donate money to your church or to a good cause, like our nonprofit Help for Vets PTSD, which you can find on online at www.helpforvetsptsd.org. We're on Twitter at help4, the number 4, vets PTSD. If you want to donate, that's altruistic because you're putting someone else before yourself. You're not expecting anything back in return. Okay, so that's another way you can act when some kind of thought, some kind of situation comes up. Empathy is also important in that empathy means that you put yourself in another person's shoes, okay? Understanding what they're feeling, okay, without them even having told you what they're feeling, Okay, so it's the ability to put yourself in other people's shoes and think, okay, how is my behavior affecting them, or how is someone else's behavior affecting this person? And you put yourself in their shoes and say, well, maybe they're feeling, or sad, or whatever the case may be. It's a very important way to behave, because it takes you outside of yourself. All right, so it's another way to get away from selfishness. All right, selflessness, empathy, altruism. One more way that we can be resilient is compassion. And in Buddhist teachings, this is a very big topic, and the path to enlightenment. And one of the most important things is to be compassionate. And compassion is one of my core values. Compassion just means that you really care about other people, and you want to do things for other people. You're invested in those people, and you truly care about them, and you want to do things for them. You feel it in your heart. And so put all these things together, all right, and what happens is that when you're confronted with a situation, okay, or a thought enters your mind, that you can stop. You don't have to close your eyes, but take a deep breath. Bring yourself into the present moment. And stop, and once you're in the present moment, you can think clearly and say, okay, am I going to act selfishly or selflessly? Am I going to act with empathy or with greed? There's lots of different options. And so you can choose the behavior that's most in accordance with your values. Okay, you can choose to, like I said before, go buy a bottle of booze. Okay, or you can choose to bypass the liquor store and stop and get a Slurpee at 7-Eleven and go home and spend some time with your family. So we're starting to get into values now. Okay, so we've learned some tools about how we can bring ourselves into the present moment, how we can focus on some things that are going to help us be more resilient. Okay, and then the next step is staying the course and defining our values, so that we know what they are, so we know them cold, and so that when those situations occur, those thoughts come up that may not be helpful, that we act in accordance with our values. And if you keep doing this over and over and over again, it's going to become a habit. Okay, and you're going to feel better about yourself. Okay, the more you do it, the better you're going to feel about yourself. So that anxiety and the depression is going to go away. Okay, those anxious thoughts appear, depressing thoughts appear. Okay, you can either buy into them and ruminate about them. Okay, or you can take a deep breath, focus on the present moment, think about your values, and act in a value-driven way. All right, and feel pretty good about yourself.